Hi, everyone. Actually, I feel like, Andrew, we should have put our pictures up there first so everyone knows who we are.
You sure should have. You'll see
So
us soon.
I'm Julie Lyon. I am the Senior Director of School Partnerships with Right at School. And I've been at Right at School since we started our programs 11 years ago, which is crazy to think. And we are so thrilled about partnering with the Cheltenham School District. And I am with my colleague, Andrew Cohen. Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself?
I sure do. Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Cohen. I am the Regional Director of Operations for Right at School. Been with Right at School for just about 3 years. My entire professional career has been in this space of working with children and families in different programs. I do live in central New Jersey, about an hour away. We'll talk more about our structure and support. But I have 3 school agers of my own. My wife teaches at the State School for the Deaf here in New Jersey. So, school age programs is not just what I do professionally, but it's who I am personally as well.
Great. So tonight we're going to talk about who we are at Right at School, a quick glance at our curriculum and daily schedule, and who we're actually hiring to be in your schools. We'll talk about how safety is really our #1 priority, what makes us different, and our fees, and then questions. And if you have questions in regards to your own child, we'll take those offline. Our contact information will be at the end of the slides, and you can take that down, and we'd be happy to talk to you if there are, again, questions that pertain to your particular children.
While the conversation is going, feel free to add any questions to the chat. We'll monitor those, and we'll have time at the end to go over anything we didn't cover.
Great. Great. And now you met us, so now you can see my face. Next time I'll be in person, hopefully. We've done so many of these forums in person, and I'm still not quite used to doing these by Zoom, but hopefully we'll have it smooth. So as I mentioned, we started Right at School about 11 years ago. And in the beginning, when we started our organization, our mission has always been to inspire a love of learning, to support schools and give parents a peace of mind. I, like most of you, are a working parent, and I know that my work productivity could go down at about 3 p.m. because my children are leaving school and entering into a before or after or an after school program, or they're going home with friends, and I start to worry about them. And so how can we really do this? And so I'm happy to say that 11 years later, we now are supporting families and school districts across the United States. We have about 35,000 children a day in our programs. We've been running successfully even through the pandemic, and we are just really, really thrilled to be partnering with Cheltenham. So people always ask me, so Julie, tell me why Right at School is different. How are you different than maybe the school run program or, another one of our competitors? And I would say #1, what makes Right at School different is the staff that we're putting into your programs. And I can tell you how great we are, but it's really about the people that we are putting in there. And I'll talk a little bit further about the training, because that's really the most important. From the beginning of the program to the end, our curriculum shines, and that is helping children social emotionally with their social emotional intelligence, particularly in this, what I like to call our COVID recovery plan, how we're helping children who have been out of school for 18 months. And then offering flexible options for you as parents. Your schedules may change, and so you can go onto our convenient online portal and change and pay for your programs as needed. We also have a full service customer service department, and in addition to Andrew being there, me being there, and your area manager who will be visiting your programs weekly. We will also be offering a discount for siblings and for any parents that apply for free and reduced lunch, or that qualify, I should say. We also want to offer flexibility and have that drop-in and punch card options available. And now we'll talk a little bit more. You can go to the next slide, Andrew. Andrew, can you hear me? You can go to the next.
You got safety.
Oh, sorry, there it went. It's kind of lagging on my side. As I said, safety is our #1 priority. So even before we're hiring any of our educators to be in the Cheltenham schools. We're doing a pre-hiring vetting, which is through the FBI and BCI background checks, sex offender and abuse neglect registry checks, past employment verification, and most importantly, reference checks. Another really important part is procedure and how the children are coming into the program and how they leave every day. You will see on first day of picking up your children that we are actually asking you for ID because we don't know you yet. And so we want to make sure that the right parent is picking up the right child. And that really is ensuring your student safety. A big part for us is partnering closely with Cheltenham, the school district itself, what those school safety procedures are, including emergency plans, lockdown drills, and we want to communicate proactively about it. So you'll see that our educators will be in the schools the week before school starts, practicing, going through those drills to know what exactly has happened in the community. And then we practice a lot. And so we are really focusing on continually learning about safety, and things may be changing in the school. So we are always doing our live trainings, drills, and quality checks. And that's what Andrew's amazing job is to be visiting your schools to see that we are delivering on the promises we're making this evening.
And Julie, I'll just add, specific to COVID and safety there, we clearly follow all guidelines as outlined by our licensing agency, Department of Health, the school district, and obviously those have changed and will continue to change, and we'll continue to partner to ensure that we're following all those regulations.
Right.
Sorry, just a minute. There you go.
Great. This is just an example of a daily schedule, and that could change depending on what your school looks like. So one really important part for us is keeping, making sure that our program is part of the fabric of each school community. So schools in the same district may look different with their programs, but an important part is the beginning is our welcome and attendance and making sure that the children are getting from after school, the school day into our program, having a snack in our town hall, and we provide those snacks and they're always not free. And the town hall is really to talk about what's going to be happening during the day, celebrating moments that may have happened during the school day, getting the children excited and building a community. We're moving into the right moves, which is a quick fitness burst. We know the children have been sitting a lot during the day, and we want to get some of that energy out so we can move into a very important part, for me at least, when as a parent, I want my children to come home with their homework complete. I'm sure Andrew feels the same way with his kids, is that I want you guys to go home at 6 o'clock, sit down, have dinner, and talk about your day and not have to worry about the homework. So we're committed to helping your children complete their homework. And then we'll move into a longer fitness, which is usually done outside, maybe organized sports. It may just be the children being outside, self-navigating on their own, with their peers. And then we move into the curriculum. So if you want to move into the next part, Andrew, because it talks a little bit about what that curriculum looks like.
Absolutely. And then just as people have been joining late, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. We will, if we don't address them during our brief time talking, we will do the Q&A at the end and cover those. So.
And we will also share this PowerPoint, and this is being recorded that we'll send out, so you can have a recording of it. So this is just a sample of our theme calendar. So we always have a theme, a thematic unit, and then a focus, and then what those exact units are. I will tell you that we are always blending in that social emotional learning into each of our units. Children have choice. I find that the children in the beginning who are like, I don't want to do the activities, by week 2, they're like, can't get enough of the activities. And when you pick them up at 5:30, they're like, no, come back at 6. This is really the hallmark of our program. It is we are aligned with Common Core and National Physical Education Standards and Kennedy Fine Arts Standards. And I believe on the next slide, we talk a little bit more about our disguised learning. So if I told any of your children that, after school, like, who wants to learn more, your children would be like, I'm not going to this program. That's why we call it disguised learning, because all they know is they're having fun. They don't realize that a day in our Right Club program, they're collaborating, they're problem solving, they're learning engineering and physics, history, geography, critical thinking, and all that. And I keep saying social emotional learning because I think that's really the most important thing coming out of this pandemic. We'll get to the questions at the end. So yep. They're popping up. Okay, go ahead. Next one.
There we go.
So who is going to be with your children? Who is going to spend the after school time? We are hiring qualified local educators. We are meeting with anyone that had worked for the class program that would like to interview with Right at School. We know that those educators may know your children. So we're, I think we're doing some hiring fairs. Andrew can talk more about that. But if you go to the next slide, please.
Yep, sorry.
We are a licensed program. So all of our staff have to meet the qualifications for Pennsylvania licensed childcare programs. Before they enter into your school and your program, they have to complete online modules and pass those, then to move on to the on-site training, which happens before school starts. And then we're always doing ongoing coaching and support for them. So once they're trained, it doesn't just stop there. In fact, they can continue taking modules to receive raises in their salary. And then we continue with professional development. And if there's professional development happening at the school, we will pay our educators to attend those. But the most important thing is that the educators with your children are prepared, they're engaged, and they're confident in being with your children. And these are just some of the training topics. I'm not going to go through them all. I think the important ones are emergency response, positive progressive guidance through our professional expectations, state licensing, and leadership and coaching, and really how to manage a program and behavior management with children.
Hang on.
We always have technological challenges. Right?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's not click into the next one.
Yeah, hang on. It says my screen sharing. I'm going to stop and I'm going to start again. I apologize, everyone. Let's try this one more time. There we go.
Great. So this is all online. It's small. You may not be able to see it. This will be sent out. We already have about, I think Andrew mentioned 100 registrations already, somewhere around there. So you can take a look at that, but just know that we have a 10% sibling military discount, and then anyone that qualifies for free and reduced lunch will receive a 20% discount, and you can call our customer service line to register through that.
These prices can also be found at that, and I'll go back to the first landing page, which is a district landing page where it has pricing and information on how to register as well. I think we're up to questions. Do you want me to go through those, Julie?
Andrew, I'm going to let you lead the chat because I can't see them right now.
Yep, you got it. All right, so let's see. My company is talking about bringing us back in person in October. What I need to pay for September in order to guarantee? Do we have a cap? No, no, and no. You can register now for October, or you could wait till September 20th to register for October, whatever works for you. We do not have a cap. We work closely with all the schools on licensing additional space, in addition to kind of the standard cafeteria, gym spaces like that. So we do not have a cap. Question around COVID. So will the children and staff be wearing masks as the district is now requiring that? Yes, we will follow whatever the district or licensing says, whichever is stricter. And right now that would be the district. In terms of cohorting, so we would work closely with the group of children enrolled. Obviously, it wouldn't match the same cohorting as in the school because all the children from the school come into our groups, but we would keep them in groups so we can do contact tracing in our group as needed. Are all staff vaccinated against COVID? We do not have that requirement at the moment, again, following whatever the district requires. So if the district, if the state department, anyone made that as a requirement that impacted our staff, we would follow suit. So in terms of the schedule, in terms of the exact flow, that's pretty flexible. I would say, most of it will happen by about 5:30. So even the curriculum would happen prior to 5:30 because that's when, prime pickup is. But there's no exact schedule because every school is a little bit different in terms of access to certain space. You can have the gym at this time, you can't. So as we get into the school year, the program manager at each program can easily kind of give you an idea of the flow of the day. Snacks, we provide snacks through a third-party vendor, usually 2 or 3 options, granola bar. We do try to incorporate fresh fruit, not always, but healthy options are given, and there would be a menu provided. Let's see. Busing from Elkins Park. So this may be a separate conversation. We're continuing, obviously we're a new partner, so we're continuing to work closely with the district. My understanding is that, children at Cheltenham Elementary or from Elkins Park will be bused to and from Cheltenham. Ms. Stacker, I'm happy to follow up with you separately. I'll make sure my contact is there. Please reach out to me and we can talk through the details, but we are busing from Elkins Park. Are the children grouped together? Sorry, I'm also letting people in. Are the children grouped together for the activities by age so that kindergartners are in activities with other kindergartners? It depends on the group of children, the number of children in each grade, but we will divide up certainly for homework time. And some of our activities, we do the whole group together because there's a lot to be learned when, a kindergartner is working with a 3rd or 4th grader. And then sometimes we do separate. Sorry, continuing to admit people. Give me 1 second here. If you want to have your child in the program 2 days, does it have to be the same 2 days every week? So in our registration, you would pick the 2 days. What we tell everybody is if you're sticking with 2 days but just switching them, if you just talk to your program manager, right, you're normally Tuesday, Thursday, you switch Thursday to Friday, I would say 9.99 times out of 10, there's no issue with that. So register for 2 specific days. As long as you're keeping that number of days, you work with the local on-site program manager to change the days. Do you mix kids of different ages? We discussed that. What happens on early dismissal days? Does the program begin early on those days? Yes, as long as you are already registered for that day of aftercare, there would be no additional charge, and we would start at that. I have community child care solution. Yes, we do take subsidy. We are currently in the process of being licensed. This is typical for a new district. So right at the moment, we're not, you wouldn't be sort of allowed to apply for subsidy. We give you a discount on your registration so you can register. And once we're officially licensed, you'll transfer over to subsidy. Can we have a schedule and also do some drop-in afternoons? Absolutely. So you can register for 3 days a week because you need Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. And then you call in, you need to add a Thursday, you need to add a Friday. Again, you could do a drop-in or you could do a punch card, which is you buy 10 drop-ins for the price of 9. So if you're going to consistently add some drop-ins, that's the best way to do it. My child, child will go to Glenside. Is the program on site? Yes. Drop-in. Julie, can you double check the drop-in? Anything we can answer, we will follow up with an FAQ. I believe it's either
the price.
Yes.
Let me check.
Yep, I believe it's 30 or 35, but we will double check that. All the Cheltenham District Elementary Schools will have on-site programs. Yes. Again, I guess I would caution that, like, given the world we live in with COVID and right, but as of right now, it would be all 4 schools. This is on-site at each school. Yep, except for Elkins Park, which as done previously would be bused because at the 5th and 6th grade level, there's usually not a significant amount of children. If vaccination not required, are you doing daily testing? Again, we will follow the district, whatever the district is doing. So we are not at the moment. How do you give notice for the 10-day punch card use? Great question. Every site has a site email, site cell phone. In addition to myself, there will be a local area manager who will oversee the 4 schools. So I oversee all of our programs on the East Coast. You'll have that person's contact number. And so if you have a 10-day punch card, we know you have that. You just call, email, and let them know you want to use. Ideally the day before, but it could certainly even be the morning of, depending on emergency. Will the kids at Myers remain at Myers? I believe that is a yes. I don't know anything different. I will again double check that. Will it be okay to pick up anytime? Absolutely. Yep. If we pick 2 days a week, does it have to be morning and after school, or can both? So you can choose, you can register for morning care, you can register for aftercare, or you could register for our combination, which would be both. If you did them separately, you could register morning 1 day, afternoon 2 days, so you could piece it together how you need. Sorry. How many children per instructor? We follow Pennsylvania licensing guidelines, which is 1 to 12. Can we pack our own snacks for our child? Yes, we, peanut free. And if there's an allergy issue, we would handle that offline. How do you handle bullying? So, we don't tolerate bullying. We work closely, with the potential children involved and the families involved to address it immediately and upfront. At some point we have a progressive behavior process that we would follow because we don't tolerate it. We also understand that, we want children to learn from their mistakes. So again, we kind of work with our team as well as the school's team. Will IEPs be allowed with a child? Yes. You can share that with us. Obviously, it's your information. The more information you share, the better we can be at working with children with IEPs. So yes, we do. How do we register? Let me see. I'm going to go back here. Sorry about that. So if you go to this link, and I believe that was also included in the email that came out today from the district, as well as last week. You click on this link, it will take you to a bunch of information. There is a button near the top that says register. It is all online. If you have any questions, you can contact me or our customer service department. Julie mentioned we have about 100 enrollments already, so it is up and running. How are special needs kids? So, we work with all children of all abilities. Obviously it's a group environment. And so we work with children of all needs and abilities. If there's, special consideration that needs to be made, we'll work closely with the family as well as potentially the school if the parents are so inclined. Teacher-student ratio mentioned 1 to 12. Children with IEPs and 504 plans, yes, you can get in contact. For now, if you want to send an email to me, and then I will connect you as we get a little bit closer with program manager and the area manager. Here. Snacks only provided in the afternoon. Typically, yes. I will take down breakfast snack as a follow-up. Just to clarify, so I'm writing that down. Do we have to register for an unexpected drop-off day? So you would register in the system, if I understand this question correctly. You would register in the system as a drop-in, so you're on file. We have all your information for licensing, and then the day before, or even if I need it next week, you can call the site and have yourself out. School is closed for any reason other than the holiday. Are you guys open? We are finalizing the kind of days off calendar with the district, and we will be putting that out soon. Again, most district we do on holidays. Certain holidays will offer program, and again, other school closures in terms of COVID and that's sort of still obviously there. How are you planning to manage student staff ratio with this sort of loose drop-in policy? So we do it everywhere, and we are staffed. You know, we are always hiring and staffing so that we typically have an extra staff member at each site, or, right, I mean, if a 1-to-12 ratio, we have 37 children registered, I need 4 staff, but I could still accommodate 10 more drop-ins. We typically, again, on an average, you know, would see 2 to 3 drop-ins on a given day. But again, we will staff accordingly, and we do it in all of our districts. Deadline for registration, nope. Can we register a kid in the middle of the school year? Absolutely. And you can register now for the middle of the school year, or wait till January for January, whatever your schedule allows. When does registration start? Registration is open now. Sorry, I'm just. What safety measures do you have in place to ensure children are released to the appropriate designated person? Great question. So as part of the registration process, you authorize, you know, yourself and others to be authorized pickups. Certainly, especially as we're new to the district, what you can expect the first week or 2 or longer if needed is we will ask you for ID and match you, even with the child running to you and yelling, "Mommy," we still want to see your ID and make sure. And again, you can imagine after a few times, we know exactly who you are. If another person comes in and says they're here to pick up a certain child, we will, and we don't recognize them, we will check the authorized pickup list. If their name is on there, we'll ask for their ID. If their name is not on there, we will contact the parent. Okay. Daily communication between the program staff and parents. So a lot of the daily communication is sort of like at pickup, talking to program manager. We do have a system where we can communicate newsletters, but a lot of the daily communication happens sort of at drop off or pickup between the program manager and the parents. Where would we go for drop off pickup location? So more information on that to come in your welcome letters, which will be out sort of the week before school. Typically that is the same drop off or pickup locations that were used in prior years. If you're brand new to the school, again, we will have that marked. Question around handling EP. I'm happy to discuss Elkins Park. I'm happy to offer up another call. I want to make sure I understand. Again, we're new to the district, so happy to talk to 1 or 2 parents just to understand the nuances, make sure we have it all right, and then either put out a communication, offer up another meeting. So I will absolutely do that. In the meantime, if you do have a specific Elkins Park question, feel free to email me. But again, absolutely, rather than have multiple conversations, I want to understand, make sure we have it set up properly so we can be best partners. When I register, it asked me to complete a contact form, not register. Give me 1 second. When I go through the questions, I'll bring up the registration page. Contact information, yes, and I'll go back there. Oh, screen, sorry. Let's try that again. Technology is fun these days. Okay, there's my contact and my cell phone. And let me go back to the chat here. Let's see. School is closed. Let me make sure. I have kids in 2 different schools. I can't log in for. You should be able to register multiple children. But again, I can follow up on that. Hang on. 15-year-old pickup. Let me just confirm licensing requirements. I believe as long as they're listed as an authorized pickup, but let me double check that, Courtney. On the registration form, there are some state licensing forms that you would have filled out. You will bring those on your first day of program, and again, we'll include information on that welcome letter. Well, for any of those who registered and may not have downloaded, we will send those out, especially over the first few weeks, numerous times, to make sure they're filled out. Again, I'm going to pull up the registration in a minute. If it's not working, I'll show you, and we'll get it fixed. Working on the school calendar for holiday closures, more to come on that. So checking in and checking out, again, we have attendance forms that you sign in and sign out. We don't use iPads. Currently, it's a printed attendance form. And again, I talked a little bit about how we check IDs and make sure the right person. Sorry, I think that's all so the question around vaccines, while things may change, at the moment, we are not requiring our employees to be vaccinated. We are working with our districts across the country, and again, state requirements, we will follow state requirements, district requirements. At the moment, as a district, we are not, as a company, we are not required. So let me pull up the registration page here. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna stop this. I have it. Okay, so over here, if you fill this out, this is where you enter to win free registration. This should, yep. So I'll go back to that real quick. If you click on enroll today, you would then go to Pennsylvania, Cheltenham, and select the school, and then you create an account. Here, I'll keep going. Click on register, and then it will take you to create an account in the system. And again, you should be able to register multiple children. This should work. If you have any issues, you can reach out. You see, how many states do you operate in? 14, I believe. And then someone asked, I think, is it for Elkins Park, meaning is registration open for Elkins Park? It is. Again, I know there's some questions, so I'm happy to take it offline, and we'll share exactly the process we're following for Elkins Park. Distance during eating, since masks will be off. We have, last year throughout the pandemic, we did social distancing during snack time, and we'll continue to do that as well. Again, Elkins Park being transported to Cheltenham. Elkins Park, if you go to Elkins Park to register, it will take you to the Cheltenham page to register. Again, if we have that wrong, we will correct it. So again, bear with us as we are brand new to the district. We know there's going to be a few pain points. Other questions, I'll keep the chat box open. I think I covered just about all the questions. If I did miss yours, as I was scrolling through, please feel free to. There is the 10-day punch card for a full day or 10. Sorry. So $30 a day for drop-in is before and after care for that.
Oh, right. Thanks, Andrew. I couldn't find it. We're like looking everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's right here on the web. Yep, on the page I went to. And so that is for before and or after for the day. Other questions? So again, you have my contact information. It can also be found, should be down. Nope. While we're getting an area manager onboarded in the next week or so, I will make sure we get my contact information down here at the bottom of the page. We'll get that updated. But at this point, I'll continue to monitor chat. This is being recorded. We'll share it out. If you have a very specific question, feel free to stay on as people drop off. How many previous class employees? That's a great question. I believe at last count, it was 7 or 8, and we're having more conversations. And we'll continue to engage them. Yes, register at Cheltenham for Elkins Park. And again, if there's something different we need to do for Elkins Park, we'll let you know. Class staff were amazing at Glenside. Love to hear that. Sometimes, as you know, employees sometimes are a little nervous. So if you happen to interact with any of them and they haven't applied yet, please let them know they can and should. Enough kids with IEPs, will they be grouped together? We don't typically. Again, every situation is a little different, so we would based on that. Other questions? Feel free to stay on as people jump off. Just make sure. Oh, where did my questions go? Oh, got another one. Sorry. Please confirm start date, August 30th, first day of school. Oh, are there floaters in case the kids need to be taken to the bathroom or something? Yeah, so the way we staff, we are in ratio and we are able to monitor children going to the bathroom. If, we have locations where the bathroom is down the hall and around the corner, and we would staff accordingly to monitor. Erin, the day ends at 1, the 30th. We will clarify that. Thank you. Again, I understand there may be concerned about our, vaccination policy and things like that. And I certainly understand. Happy to discuss offline. Again, we are partnered with districts across the country, worked all last year throughout the pandemic, worked closely in schools, virtual learning, virtual support, and are confident in our ability to do it safely in partnership with our districts. So the program will be at the school location. Yes, it will be at all the elementary schools, correct. Masks are required at all times. If that is the district policy, which I understand it to be, then yes, our masks will be required. We follow district policy, state licensing, childcare licensing, whichever is more strict. At the moment, licensing allows for some optional mask wearing, but if the district is requiring masks, we would require masks. Again, my contact is, hold on, let me switch back here. 1 sec. Right, there you go. So my contact is, will we have extra masks? Yes, we have extra masks. Yes. Not if kids lose theirs, when kids lose theirs. And again, I have 3 school agers of my own. There is my contact information. Oh, and we are missing the rest of the customer service number. Not added. It's on the page I showed you before. This is my cell phone. You can text, you can email, you can call. And again, as we bring on our area manager, we'll provide that information as well. Other questions? If not, I'll stop sharing my screen here. And I would just say, we're thrilled to be partnering with Cheltenham School District. We understand, you had a program for many years prior. And we are confident in our ability to run great programs. We're in 5 other districts, in the sort of suburban Philadelphia market. And we are excited. We are proactive and responsive. I wish I could assure you everything is perfect all the time. Sometimes there's challenges, but you will hear from me. You will get a response from me and my team immediately. Do we have anything the kids can sleep on if they come very early? Typically we don't. Again, we can and will and have done, one sort of cot type of thing if needed. Typically we don't. Julie, anything on your end? Will there be an on-site phone number? Yes, on-site phone number, on-site email for each of the individual locations, as well as the area manager's contact, email, cell phone, and my contact, email, cell phone. What if the kids don't want to do an activity or don't understand what's going on? Julie mentioned we do allow choice, so we don't force the children. I would hope that most of our children are able to understand, through kind of repetition and what we do, what to expect. And we see this early on, but we will never force a child. We'll give directed choice because, again, we don't want 50 children doing their own individual thing. Usually it's, a large group, and then there's always one other activity or something for children to do. So no forcing of them to do it, encouraging and sort of that. Is there free playground time? So yes, so we do use outdoors, use the playground. There may be like a structured game here and, use the equipment here. It's not necessarily obviously go when you want, but, we'll go from 3:15 to 4 o'clock. And at that point, it's the structured versus and opportunity. Will you prioritize homework over other activities if they go long? That's a great question. It ends up being a little individualized by school and by family sometimes, but we want the children to complete their homework. We certainly don't ensure 100% accuracy. We'll guide them and have conversations with the parents, but we usually have a set time. And it sort of morphs. Each school will kind of learn kind of the grouping. Sometimes we also know, okay, kindergarten, first grade don't have homework on Mondays, right? And so we'll adjust there. If you as a parent, right, like we typically do 45 minutes, but your child needs an hour and 50, like we can make and we can and have those accommodations. We have one district I work with where one school where parents as a group don't want their children to do homework. Not sure I could accommodate that when I get home, but that will work individually. Some after school clubs and then come to aftercare. Oh my gosh, my computer is almost dying, so bear with me. I usually have much longer battery life. Sometimes kids have after school clubs and then come to aftercare and they've missed the homework. Will they be able to do it? Yeah, that's where we can work individually to kind of allow a child to come in and do homework in a semi-quieter setting while the other children are doing an activity. Yes.
Bless you.
I think that covers it. Again, you've got my contact. You have the information register, and I will stay on If people sort of jump off, if you do have an individual question or want to give me your contact, right, if there's something specific to follow up on, happy to chat briefly at the very end. May just walk upstairs to get my charger. So don't mind the dizziness here. Other questions? Guys, you're free to go. I don't want to end it just in case someone wants to up and talk to me separately.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi. So I was the one with the two questions about the two schools.
Okay.
And I have one child that is at Winfield Elementary, and I have one child who is at Elkins Park. And I know that with class, you know, the students who from Elkins Park are bused to Cheltenham, but would there be any opportunity for students from Elkins Park to be bused to any of the other elementary schools, or is it just that they go to Cheltenham?
I can check because, you know, the district will sort of still be doing the busing. It's
Right.
probably going to be Cheltenham.
Okay.
But I will follow up on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it. Someone asked if the presentation, it's been recorded. And so that'll be shared as well as the slide deck as well will be shared out.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Ivy, and I have a question.
Sure.
Thank you for your presentation. It was pretty informative. I have three young ladies at Wingcote Elementary, and we are looking to figure out our fall schedule with extracurricular activities. So will you be flexible if, like, I'm registering right now, and so I want to register for maybe 4 days, just to be on the safe side, but will you prorate it if it changes, if I give you advance notice? How does that work?
Yep, good question. Typically, our billing is done monthly. So you register for 4 days, you'd be billed for 4 days for September. You could change it easily for, you know, October going forward. So that's sort of like automatic. You can do that, change up, change down. If it ends up being something like you register for 4 days and after 3 days of school, you realize you only need 2 days, you know, it's a little, you know, it's just a little more complicated, but we can address that. So definitely on a monthly basis, changing up and down is easy. Outside of that, we could just work offline to fix.
Got it. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. And I'm noticing here that when we register for August the 30th and the 31st, it prorates you those 2 days and then goes into September, right?
It does. So good question. So August would be prorated, and then June would be prorated, and then every other month is that full amount that's shown on the pricing.
Okay. And then my last question is, I know that licensing is always a feat to do. Do you believe that you'll be licensed in enough time to start school?
Yes.
Okay. Good luck.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what we do.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, Andrew. I had a question.
Yes.
So, oh darn it, I forgot this fast. One moment.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh yeah, in a situation where a child has behavioral issues, how do you guys handle those kinds of issues?
Yeah, I wish there was sort of a blanket, you know, we certainly believe positive guidance, but we work individually with each child. And, you know, if there's a behavior challenge, we're going to work closely with the parent and the school if the parent wants us to, on kind of strategies that work in school and how can we implement those. And then, you know, we do have a progressive behavior policy where, you know, if it's extreme and it, you know, safety of other children at risk, you know, there are steps we take, but we believe all children can really benefit from our program and really work one-on-one, program manager, parent, school, to be as successful as possible.
Okay, all right, thank you. I appreciate that. And
Yep.
I'll just hang on for the other question I had.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
Hi, Andrew. Sorry if this is a repeat question. I joined a little bit late.
No problem.
Are your services extended or offered during holidays and when school is not in session?
Yeah, so we are finalizing that with the district. We do provide that in a lot of our other districts. And sometimes we consolidate into one building or two buildings on those days. So more to come. Our hope is we'll have that calendar out.
That is my hope as well.
Yep.
And as far as subsidy, so you guys you said you will get a discount initially, right?
Yep.
And then once everything get updated and you guys have the contract, whatever you guys need, I will pay just the copay, or would I still pay the difference, or how does that work?
Good question. I believe it's just your copay in Pennsylvania, but I will confirm that.
Okay, and then I wasn't here in the beginning of the session, so I wasn't sure if this question was already answered or when you guys initially introduced yourselves. You are again?
Yeah, so I'm Andrew Cohen. I'm the regional director on the East Coast. So I oversee all of our districts on the East Coast. And then each of the districts, Cheltenham, will have an area manager. We're finalizing, as you know, this decision to transition to Right at School happened in late June. And so we're still kind of hiring. We'll have an area manager who will oversee Cheltenham. They'll be local. They'll visit the schools on a rotating basis. And then each site, each school will have a program manager who's there in the morning and afternoon and kind of running the day-to-day.
And what was Julie's position again?
Julie is the senior director of client partnerships. So she works closely with districts in terms of bringing new programs into Right at School and then working ongoing to make sure we're delivering on the promises that we've set out to do.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes.
Hey, nice to meet you. Good presentation. Very informative. Had a quick question. It's probably a fairly easy question. So in my instance, I was preparing obviously for the first day. Turns out my company, they delayed us to return it back to the office. So it would likely be October for me.
Yep.
So in that instance, so say like hypothetically, if job says, hey, we want you guys to come back September 15th.
Yep.
And then obviously I registered. Would my child would she start technically like in October, or could she start immediately?
So she can start immediately. If you register now for October 1st, right, you're set there, and they call you back in early, you would just call our customer service department and ask them to kind of, bring it forward. Or likewise, they call and say, or they tell you it's November 1st. You could call and push it back out to November 1st. Gotcha.
Perfect. Okay. So in that instance, I think you kind of addressed this too. You said really register. Like, 'cause I was going to say, would it be best to register now?
I mean, there's always peace of mind in registering. Again, we don't turn families away because you're not going to be out, other than the registration fee.
Okay.
There's probably no harm in doing it for October 1st, knowing you can maneuver it as needed.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you. Other questions? All right. I'll give it like the good 6-second rule. Otherwise, I will exit out of this. And again, the presentation will be shared and the slides will be shared as well, but people can reach out to me with any questions or that they have. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you very much.